This time, it's all going a bit Tom Cruise, as we're catching up with family searches far and away.
It looks like something out of a fairy tale.
I mean, Hansel and Gretel got nothing on this.
It sometimes seemed like Mission Impossible.
A zip line, do from
Into
one...
my bedroom.
And was often a risky business.
Oh, you're mean!
I'm not mean.
That's so cruel.
I'm not mean.
As we tried to avoid the War of the Worlds.
You hate me today, don't you, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah, OK.
Now we're finding out if they made all the right moves.
Straight out of the rule book. It's fantastic.
This week, we're catching up with two sets of house hunters who were moving into unfamiliar territory. One family needed to relocate for a new job, and the other one was leaving city for country, as well as trying to bring 3 generations under the same roof. There was a lot going on. In September 2020, we hot-footed it to the home counties in search of a country pile for Digi and her daughter Emily. And back in March 2012, we set our aim on Aberdeenshire, where Scott and Kirsten were mining for a move of their own.
In the last 40 years, Aberdeen has become the oil capital of Europe. Engineer Scott Lang and his wife Kirsten are just one of the many families relocating here for precious job opportunities.
The couple, along with their 2 children, Natalie and Max, currently live in the coastal town of Kirkcaldy. But when Scott discovered he was being made redundant, family life as they knew it was about to change.
It was very out of the blue, totally unexpected announcement.
So we had one night of feeling a bit sorry for ourselves.
Yeah. Have to turn it all around and get the positives out of it. Don't throw yourself in a pit of despair and feel sorry for yourself.
So my resilient couple picked themselves up, and just 3 weeks later, Scott thankfully secured another job.
The downside is it's based over 80 miles north in Aberdeen, meaning the family are currently separated during the week.
The big thing that's hit me the hardest is probably leaving Kirsten and the kids to drive up to Aberdeen. I managed to hold it together. Unfortunately, Kirsten and the kids did as well, so it didn't end up this sobbing family in the street.
That's really the impetus to get us together.
So, to keep the family as one, Kirsten and the children are following Scott to Aberdeen and leaving behind their beloved home in Kirkcaldy.
We bought the property 2 years ago, which was my grandparents' old house. They lived here for over 30 years. I remember them moving in, and we have spent the last 2 years,
Lots of time and money on it.
Renovating it and making the perfect family home. And I've got so many family memories of being here.
Kirsten and Scott loved the idea of their kids growing up in this house, adding their names to the height chart where Kirsten herself was measured as a girl.
But this canny couple have a plan. For now, they're going to rent out the house in Kirkcaldy so they can keep the place they love, in the hope that one day they can move back.
And the home at the end of the day is where the 4 of us are going to be.
So it's up to me to find the all-important stopgap in the Granite City so that this foursome can be back together again. No pressure.
Obviously, redundancy is a very scary word. But you two have got a really positive attitude. You picked yourself up and you said, right, okie doke, off to Aberdeen we go.
We want to keep the family up in Scotland, and the only opportunity was for me to come up to Aberdeen.
I think at issue is the fact that you have your forever family home. Yeah. That already exists. So in Kirkcaldy is this house, which is where your heart lies.
Yes.
So you're not looking for that.
No.
But at the same time, this house is where you're going to bring up your children.
Yeah.
And it's going to be important. And your budget is around the 200,000 mark.
Yes.
200.
200.
Maximum.
Maximum. Okay.
Max.
I won't play with that. Don't worry. It's fine. 200,000 max. You're aware that for £200,000, you're not going to get anything palatial in Aberdeen.
Acutely.
I think, you know, the old, tired house that's, you know, not really had much done to it for a long time, the expectation is that's the level we'll be pitching in at.
Right.
Because we would rather go in at that and have space than have a walk-in that doesn't have the other
Space,
attractive
yeah.
things like space.
Yeah. So you're not afraid of
doing stuff?
No.
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 We've even taken walls down.
Scott, I'm beginning to feel a bit inadequate.
Well, that's got to be a first.
Thank you, Phil. Kirsten and Scott have a £200,000 budget and they want a rather large house. They're looking for a semi-rural property with 4 bedrooms, but they are happy to take on a project.
Their modest 200 grand budget won't go far in the city of Aberdeen, so we're headed to the picturesque pockets of countryside to the north in search of a family-friendly fixer-upper. And nearly 400 miles away, we're hunting for another rural retreat just north of London, in Hertfordshire and neighbouring Buckinghamshire. This search is far south, but expectations are sky high.
Sports equipment business owner Digi has a budget of over £1 million and is on the hunt for a very special family home.
So I live with my daughter, Emily. We're a very active family, from tennis, swimming, jogging, cycling. It's a very outdoor life.
They're hoping to trade their Victorian terrace in London's leafy Highgate for a new home with Digi's mum, Quelan, closer to nature.
I was brought up in Yorkshire, so for 18 years was very familiar with only the countryside. Because of that, there's a feeling in me that I would like my daughter to experience the same. So we've been looking in the Hertfordshire area, around Elstree, because my daughter goes to secondary school next year, and there are a number of good schools that we've identified there.
Not only will Quelan be moving in, but Digi will also be operating her business from this property. That means it will need 2 annexes, but crucial too to this search is future-proofing.
In 2018, I discovered I had a degenerative disc disease called spondylosis. It's a very painful condition, and I manage it today by having 1 to 2 hours of physio and rehab a day. I'd like to have the space to be able to do the rehab outside or inside in winter when the weather isn't suitable.
Digi's condition can affect her mobility and needs to be taken into account on my search. But after 27 years in Highgate, her exclusively online hunt for a 4-bedroom property has so far been fruitless.
I sometimes think I should have a T-shirt which says, online house hunting is not house hunting.
My agent told me to go online.
Yeah.
And wasn't I lucky that you could see everything online and take your pick?
No,
it's almost like
it doesn't.
Online dating. It's
No.
like swipe.
Yes,
swipe,
it doesn't.
swipe.
It's like online dating. You're so right. It's like online
Yeah.
dating.
I've kind of lost hope a bit.
Listen, they're tools. They're useful tools.
Yeah.
It's a home for you and Emily and your mum. It couldn't be more loaded with emotion. But at the same time, you have to be pragmatic.
I am hoping that this next house will be, I think you term it as a forever home.
Yes.
This might be like trying to find a needle in a haystack, particularly with a house hunter who's never been out in the field. Digi has a budget of £1.25 million. She wants to be close to good schools, have 4 bedrooms, a granny annex, office space, and importantly, ease of access.
I'm starting my search with Digi just north of Elstree in the village of Smallford, 4 miles from the centre of St Albans.
This is one of the most complicated houses I've ever seen in my personal or professional life.
It looks like something out of a fairy tale.
It is like something out of a fairy tale.
And-
I mean, Hansel and Gretel got nothing on this.
So, yes, it looks interesting.
I am dazzled by it. This is the first house you're seeing in the flesh.
OK, it's very cute.
Great first impression, Kirsty. You may have found that needle in a haystack already.
I'll certainly need to be on point to help show off what's on offer here. The property spreads out over a healthy plot, with parts dating back to the 16th century. Where it scores points is that it comes with annexes, one just right for mum and another for Digi's business. The main house has 4 living spaces, with stunning period features.
And upstairs, Digi and Emily can take their pick from the 4 bedrooms.
The house needs some cosmetic work, so I'd be hoping to get a deal. But for now, it's on at the top of Digi's budget at £1.25 million, and given her unique requirements, it's a great find.
It's fascinating. And
Am I going to get lost? It sounds like a maze.
I got lost. I put my bag down and mass panic. I just had no idea where it was. It needs a major refresh. There's no doubt about that.
The first priority in the main house should be to knock down the wall between the kitchen and dining room to let light flood the space.
Stand in the kitchen door and just put your head back and forward.
Okay.
Do you see what I mean?
This is the...
So that's the wall that can come
divides
down.
the two and then have a bigger space
Yeah.
straight into the conservatory. Yes, I see.
And you really would have...
You're doubling the space, essentially.
And it would be a lovely kitchen conservatory straight on into the garden.
Digi looks to be sharing your vision.
Go and have a look upstairs.
Lovely, thank you.
I hope so, Pip, and that her bright outlook continues in the bedroom.
Okay, this is the master bedroom. It's nice and light and airy.
I can't pretend I know what Digi is thinking. But I tell you one thing, she seems to be taking all this in her stride, which is quite remarkable.
Oh, wow. Very charming. And a lovely big fireplace. It's amazing.
So good on her. If she goes on like this, we'll find her something.
And I'm not done yet.
After you.
Thank you.
The two resident miniature ponies may well move on to pastures new when this house is sold, but if Digi wanted them to stay, that's also an option.
Hello.
And there they are.
I imagine Emily would love them, but Mum would need to love the house too, and I'm not sure she does.
So, is it all a bit much?
Probably.
Right,
Probably, for various reasons. The higgledy-piggledy-ness is the charm,
Yes.
but I don't think that will work, and particularly the stairs going upstairs.
Yeah.
That will become an issue.
Yeah.
But it is absolutely charming.
It would have been a good option, but the charm doesn't outweigh the practicalities.
I'll just need to show her a place that delivers on both.
We're catching up with two families who are pining for pastures new. Entrepreneur Digi was searching for a multi-generational country home. The first property in Smallford, Hertfordshire, might have been picture perfect, but with Digi's degenerative spine condition, she couldn't view it with a long-term lens.
The higgledy-piggledy-ness is the charm,
Yes.
but I don't think that will work, and particularly going upstairs.
In Kirkcaldy, redundancy had pulled the rug out from under Scott and Kirsten.
Don't throw yourself in a pit of despair and feel sorry for yourself.
With Scott securing a new job over 80 miles away in Aberdeen, our remit was to reunite a family with a budget of £200,000.
Home at the end of the day is where the four of us are going to be.
16 miles north of Aberdeen, Ellen is an area popular with young families. It has good primary schools and a strong community feel, which is perfect for Scott, Kirsten and the kids.
And I think my first property and its picturesque setting will get me off to a great start.
So, first house of the day. It's more about that than that.
I am loving
This.
yes.
This modern, detached bungalow with its stunning views has a generous open-plan kitchen, a separate dining room and a child-friendly back garden.
And it's on the market at a fixed price of £195,000.
Apart from a bit of redecoration, it doesn't need any major work, so Scott won't be reaching for his power tools just yet. But I don't think that's such a bad thing.
Doesn't need anything doing to it,
No,
really.
I know.
But you could do stuff together at the
Decorate.
weekends.
Yeah, we could have a life.
Initial impressions so far?
Very
Positive, yeah.
Okay, good.
Great start, Kirsty.
Yes, but this place is a gamble. They want a fourth bedroom for guests, but at their budget in this setting, they only get 3. Time to see if these two are as open-minded as they seem.
There are 2 options. The first is to have a bunk bed in one of the children's rooms, or to curtain the window between the dining room and the sitting room, put a sofa bed in there, and then have your dining table in your sitting room. The word sofa bed makes people's hearts sink, but there are so many fantastic ones on the market now. Which
have
That's what we use, because we
got that in
use
our
our
spare room.
playroom and our
Well,
playroom's
exactly.
a spare room with a sofa bed.
Well, that went down well. And there's plenty else on offer here to make up for that spare bedroom compromise.
Okay.
light room again. And it is actually a good size. And
Plenty of
lovely
space.
view as well.
Yeah.
Really, really nice view.
It's all my Christmases come at once. A couple for whom being together as a family is what matters. The view's great, the location's great, it's got lots of space. We're going to enjoy being here as a family. That's what matters.
Well, that was all remarkably positive. Is that a skip in your step, Kirsty?
You can hardly blame me, Phil.
Down in Hertfordshire, Digi's heart didn't skip a beat when she viewed the first house in Smallford. Whilst it might have been charming, Digi felt she'd struggle with the stairs. But Kirsty's second offering, in the village of Watton at Stone, could be just the ticket.
The property is a bit younger than the first one Digi saw, but features more of what she's after. The good links mean there's some noise from the main road, but hopefully nothing that will put her off.
Very, 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 very different.
This impressive bungalow has lots of space and being on one level is ideal for Digi's access concerns. There's an internal garage that could easily be converted into Digi's new office.
Inside, there are 5 ample-sized bedrooms and a large lounge opening into a spacious dining room. There are 3 bathrooms, one of which is an ensuite.
Few properties of this sort come onto the market, and with 2 main doors, the house can essentially be split down the middle, having Gran on one side and Digi and Emily on the other. The asking price is £1.175 million, which is 75 grand under budget.
You may have noticed, Digi, that there was another door there.
Yes.
That is the annex. So essentially, it's 5 beds at the moment, but you'd lose 1 in the annex if you kept that as your annex. But if you turned that into your annex, the stables...
Can you do that?
Yes.
Ah.
You've got the hard standing, and that's the main thing you need. So it's a matter of getting permission.
It's nothing that would need to be done immediately, but over time, this could really improve an already strong home. One option for Digi's office could even be the garage.
So, polar opposite to what we were just in.
Very much so. It's new. Therefore, for me, it's slightly less character.
Yeah.
But that road noise is actually more than I have in London.
Do you think it's too much?
Yes,
Okay.
because there isn't enough to compensate for it.
Road noise is entirely a personal thing. But onwards and upwards.
OK.
I fear Digi's must-have list is lengthening, and she might not be prepared to compromise on any of it. My job just got harder.
Well, Kirsty, to soften the blow, Scott and Kirsten seem quite taken with the first house in Hatton, Aberdeenshire. They're after a semi-rural family home that's commutable to Scott's new job. And our next stop is Old Meldrum, home to one of Scotland's oldest whisky distilleries. Let's hope they fall under the influence of property number 2.
I found a house that gives them the charm they love. And if they like the last property for its views, then they'll go mad for this place. I think it's about time you met my dream buyers, Phil.
Is this semi-rural enough for you, do you think? Yeah, it's a fantastic
Yes.
location.
Yeah, it's
Beautiful
lovely.
scenery.
And very quaint as well.
This 1950s cottage is on the market at offers over £199,000. It's top of their budget, but I'm confident we could do a deal.
It's smaller than the first house, and they've said space is their priority.
But there is room for improvement, and I hope my star pupils can see the potential.
Come and see what you think.
Wow.
Kitchen diner.
Yeah. Lovely view again. From the outside, it's really beautiful and quaint, and I was a bit worried that when we came in, it would be quite oppressive.
claustrophobically
But
small.
no,
Yeah.
I have to say it's actually better than I thought it was going to be.
It's on the market at 199, being valued at 200. There is opportunities longer term, but obviously there's a budget implication, and this is top end of budget now.
We fully anticipated coming into something that would need work done, but we knew we weren't going to be able to do it straight away.
Yeah.
So it had to be livable with, which this is
Which
totally
totally is,
livable with. And it's a longer term thing if we're going to do work.
Good stuff.
You were right. These two are such a pleasure.
What did I tell you? Like the first property, this has just 3 bedrooms. But there is a huge loft ripe for development, which will give Scott the renovation project he craves.
And it'll comfortably provide the 4th bedroom they asked for.
And I bet if he's gone up in that loft with Phil, he's already planning out the space and what he's going to do.
Do a lot with this.
Well, you were the one that wanted to put your stamp on something.
Yeah.
I reckon up here you get 2 bedrooms and still have a loft.
Easily, yeah.
The 2 properties are so much better than I ever anticipated that you would show us.
Can you come and be with us every week?
Oh, this is a nice big room as well.
Yeah.
This is totally livable with.
Walking again, isn't it?
They're making it look easy.
Yeah, they're so positive and their
They
attitude
just
is...
want to get the family together and sorted and move on.
I know.
How are you getting on?
Good.
Yeah.
Actually,
We
yeah.
love the place. Very enthusiastic about it.
I can tell.
I think we may want to buy it.
Did we say that in the last?
Oh, dear me.
You should keep her on edge for a little bit longer, please.
I love you two. I really do. Okie dokie.
I'm so taking that as 2 out of 2. But can I make it a hat trick?
Hold your horses, Kirstles. You're yet to score for Digi down south. In Hertfordshire, Property One's access issues proved a step too far, and a lack of period character coupled with road noise were deal breakers for property number 2. The final option is in neighbouring Buckinghamshire, where Kirsty's sourced a stunner in Ivinghoe Aston.
The village is a popular choice with London commuters and has good transport via the nearby towns of Tring and Leighton Buzzard. Emily's preferred school is around 45 minutes away, but that could be worth it for this picture postcard setting.
What we have here, Digi, is a pear tree. No partridge at the moment, but I can find you one if that's what's required. I suppose you could say that it's quite similar to the first property yesterday, apart from you have to do a great deal less.
OK.
Digi wants a period property, and this delightful listed 17th century cottage is full of the charm she's after, and in great condition.
The ground floor has a spacious sitting room flowing through to a large kitchen.
Upstairs, there's a main bedroom with ensuite. Adjacent are 2 generously sized bedrooms and a family bathroom.
But it's the outbuildings that I have most hope for. The larger barn would be ideal for Digi's studio, and there's a near-perfect granny annex in waiting. It's priced at the top of Digi's budget, on at 1.25 million.
When there's more light, it does help, doesn't it?
It really helps.
It's got a nice feel.
Have a look upstairs.
OK.
There are loads and loads of outbuildings that I want to show you, but we need to know first whether the house works. Digi's got a lot to think about. I don't know whether she would buy a house that ticked all the boxes unless she was emotionally invested in it.
Oh, that's great. The ceilings are higher here and here as well. There's the ensuite. Wow. That is a beautiful bath.
I can't quite work out what she's feeling about this house, but I think it comes closer than anything else.
Nice view of the garden. They've got a well. It's lovely.
Digi seems impressed. Let's hope that continues in the potential annex.
What you've got, you see, is this solid structure.
Ah, OK. There's plenty of space.
It's plenty of space.
Yeah.
The outbuilding could be adapted to the family needs, but now it seems it's adapting the house itself that is causing her concern.
If it weren't listed, I think this potentially could be the one.
Yeah.
But because it's listed, we can't add the conservatory, we can't expand the ceiling height. There's so many restrictions.
No.
It has to stay a small,
It has to stay as what
cute,
it is,
old
yeah.
cottage.
I mean, looking back over the last 24 hours, these were the top 3 houses that came anywhere close to fitting the criteria. I don't think the criteria are fussy. I just think they're complicated.
With such a specific search, Digi needs to reflect on the properties we've seen and make a big decision about how best we move her house hunt forward.
We're catching up with two families who were hoping for a fresh start in a new area. In the home counties, the three properties Digi viewed ticked some, but not all, of her boxes.
If it weren't listed, I think this potentially could be the one.
And in Aberdeenshire, Scott and Kirsten fell for the cottage just outside Old Meldrum. But Kirsty has one more house to show them in the town itself that might just trump it.
This is Old Meldrum.
Yes.
And if you lived here opposite the playing fields, children would walk to school,
Yes.
and you'd be in the centre of a lovely community. It would be a very different kind of life and not involve the car very much.
The conversation I have just had with Scott.
So here we are.
Okay. Good. Oh, you're mean.
I'm not
That's
mean.
so cruel.
I'm not mean.
This 1940s four-bed detached villa is on the market at offers over 210 grand.
But I have it on good authority that their budget of £200,000 would be considered. Scott and Kirsten want somewhere they can do work to, and they'd have a field day modernising this place.
Okay.
Is this better than what you thought you'd be buying?
Yes, from a location point of view.
It's not doing it for me as much as the other two properties
No.
did, but again, it's a very different animal, isn't it?
Right.
Oh dear, that's not the most positive response from Scott, but Kirsten definitely loves the location.
Really struggling to get my head around this whole thing.
What's pulling me here is the fact, I don't know if you're going to end up working away as
that's
well.
right,
If you're going to end up being away overnights and stuff, how, I would feel maybe being out there on my own with the kids.
Kirsten loves being at the centre of the village, but with Scott pining after the rural cottage, it's not what he wanted to hear. You hate me today, don't you, Scott?
Yeah.
Yeah, OK. That's good. I'm glad we got out of the way.
It's just totally not working for me at all, this house.
This house is not the build that you would really like, is it?
No, it's,
No.
it's the shape and
the
the way
shape
it
and-
flows. It doesn't
Yeah.
really...
No, it doesn't.
It's not in here.
But it will never be where your heart lies.
No, that's right. If Kirsten wants to buy this house, we'll buy it. And I will deal with that and move on from where I am at the moment.
But Kirsten loves you and wants you to have a house that you love, particularly when you're working so hard to provide for your family. It's nice. Listen, I like it when people don't buy houses because they love each other too much.
Well, that must be why we've never bought a house together, eh, Kirstles?
Oh, I know, I'm sorry. Scott hates me. He's come out and said that. He doesn't know whether he hates me or the house more. Yeah. What do you want to do?
We have to go back.
Go back and look at the other one.
We have to definitely
What,
do
the
that.
second house yesterday?
Yes.
Yeah. See if that makes anything any clearer. I had thought I had this all wrapped up, but after this property, my perfect house hunters are torn, and I'm just not sure which way they'll go.
Back down south, after viewing three properties, it's also time for Digi and her daughter Emily to make some decisions.
Have we found one?
No.
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 Because I would have loved for you to have turned up at the end of the day and for us to have said, we got it, done.
This is it.
This is it. That would have been fantastic. I'm sorry we've disappointed you. What we're searching for is that middle bit in the Venn diagram. And it's not easy to find.
Remember, the house that we're looking for is quite special.
When we met, Digi hadn't viewed anything in person, but now I think the more she sees, the clearer her search will become. And until then, they can dream.
What's the thing you want most from a new house?
Definitely water. That's my favourite thing. A big tree to make tree houses and swings.
A zip line.
Into your bedroom?
Yeah, do from
Into
one.
my bedroom.
Maybe out of your bedroom.
Yes.
Not sure about. I think into your bedroom might be a bit more of a problem. I tell you one thing: if you do go to a place or see something, or want to ring me up and say, "What do you think?" You're very welcome. So I think probably I have to wish you good luck. Do you ever do cheers?
We do indeed.
Yes,
Thank you so
okey-doke.
much. Thanks, Kirsty. It's been
Not
brilliant.
at all. Thank
We
you.
learnt so much. We'll give you a ring. Oops.
I'll be looking forward to the call.
Up in Aberdeenshire, Scott and Kirsten are torn between the rural cottage on the outskirts of Old Meldrum and the house in the village itself.
But they've decided to come back to the cottage Scott loves to see if the same house can feel like home for both of them.
It's this fire I'm heading for, not into anything else. Blow the house, it's the fire.
Yes.
We dashed in because it's very cold and windy, which even more makes me think what happens in the winter. Have you got a 4x4?
We've got a Volvo.
OK, right. We won't talk about what happens up here in the winter because Scott doesn't want me to talk about that. And I'm not to be negative about this house in any way. I'm just backing off at this point.
That'll be a first.
Go and have a look around.
OK.
Scott and Kirsten want a home where the family can be together again. But on this second viewing, it's important that they think with their heads and not their hearts.
How are you feeling about here, then?
I think this has definitely got the best of everything because we can move straight into it. There's a lot of potential for what we can do with it. You know, you look at this space, what we can do with this up here.
My head did think, oh, Meldrum, being in town, being able to walk to school, having the park across the road was all perfect, but...
I just didn't like the house.
I know, and I'm OK with that.
They have this incredible sense that as long as they're together, that's all that matters.
This is really pretty.
We can get chickens.
Some people are just meant to be together, Kirsty.
And some people are just stuck with each other.
OK, you're both grinning like Cheshire cats. So the house is what you want?
Yes. Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
100%.
I can see myself and the kids being here.
We should find somewhere warm, dry, and with a licence.
Yes, please, I feel the need.
After you.
Thank you.
So they want it, but it's priced at offers over £199,000. This property is dangerously close to their maximum budget of 200 grand. They want to start the ball rolling at 195.
I think 195 is strong.
OK.
I wouldn't be ashamed of an offer of 195.
Yeah.
At this point, I would usually call the agent, but under the Scottish system, buyers often make their offers via their solicitors.
We'd like to put in an offer on the house, please. We're going to go in at 195.
And that leaves it up to Scott.
Yeah, because we are in a very strong position, I think, so... OK, right, thanks, Crawford. Bye-bye.
So it feels a bit weird. I'm kind of on the other side. With their offer on the table, Scott and Kirsten can do nothing now but wait.
And the next day, they have some news for Kirsty.
Hello, Kirsty.
God, is that you?
It is. No, I was just phoning to let you know that we have the house.
No.
And we got it for 197.
Many, many congratulations. I can't tell you how pleased I am.
Their successful purchase meant Kirsten, Max and Natalie could finally join Scott up country. But it also meant leaving behind their lovingly restored family home in Fife. When we caught up with them a year later, they were charmed by country life.
We actually kind of felt like we were on holiday for about the first 2 months. It was like being in a holiday cottage. We had to kind of get back into the no, this is actually real life.
Where we are, you know, it's a fantastic location. We've definitely landed lucky with this place.
And kids, Natalie and Max, were quite taken too.
They love being out here. You know, they love going up to the farm.
He's got curly hair, isn't he?
He's big.
Yeah.
The plan always was, right, we'll come up to Aberdeenshire, we'll do the work, but the plan, you know, will always be to go back to Fife. And I'm amazed. Probably, the pool was probably more for myself to go back there because of my family connections. But I don't know that we would actually go back down to live there.
It was quite the result for Kirsty. Nearly a decade on, and the family's ridden a real estate roller coaster. After 4 happy years in Aberdeenshire, Scott was once again made redundant. So when a job opportunity cropped up in Canada, he and Kirsten sold both the Old Meldrum cottage and the family home in Kirkcaldy before crossing the pond.
It was a great opportunity for the kids to go and live somewhere new, for us to go and experience different culture, different living. And we went there with no expectation. We were just like, look, let's just see where this takes us.
Where it took them was to this 4,000 square foot property, complete with its own pool, in the province of Nova Scotia on the east coast.
We paid probably roughly, I don't know, 230,000 UK equivalent, and that was 2016. You just get an awful lot more for your money.
You get a lot of house for your money. And...
We've really enjoyed our time in Canada. However, I actually ended up having quite a bad fall in the beginning of 2018 and got really bad concussion. And it's those sorts of things where you suddenly go, we have no support network.
There's nobody there for us.
Thankfully, Kirsten's now well on the road to recovery. But that shock gave her and Scott the impetus to cross the Atlantic again and return to their former home ground of Kirkcaldy, far closer to their parents. Though finding a home wasn't plain sailing.
We started looking for properties in February 21 and we hit this awful property market.
We offered for, I don't know, half a dozen houses plus. Lost out on all of them.
Genuinely, we're getting to the point of
it was
thinking
desperation.
That we're just not going to get anywhere.
But their luck changed when they found this family home, just a stone's throw from the centre of Kirkcaldy and only 15 minutes drive from Scott's new job.
Came to see it. I don't think we were even in here for 5 minutes.
No, we weren't.
We've just got to that point.
It's like, yeah, this is great. It's the right size. It's okay. Let's just buy it.
It's got a roof.
Yeah.
Well, it's got a little more than that, Kirsten, including 4 good-sized bedrooms and plenty of entertaining space, all for a price tag of £290,000.
I think part of the reason we probably managed to get the house was it was pretty tired. You know, the carpets and the colours and the choices were probably not to everybody's taste. So all the living areas were ripped out, painted, new carpets fitted. We had a fairly hectic 6 days before we actually moved into the house.
But it was worth it. With the dated decor gone, the house soon felt like home.
I feel like I'm getting a bit middle-aged. In fact, I've decided I quite like the conservatory. But I just really enjoy sitting out there, lovely view of the garden.
I've come to love the garage where I can go and do stuff.
Although there's the odd nod to Canada, the whole family, including new addition, Cocker Spaniel Maisie, haven't looked back.
The kids settled in really quickly. Natalie's really found rugby and thoroughly enjoys it.
Here then, catch.
I'm just waiting for Dad to drop it. And Max is still on his gamer.
His gaming PC is his life now. We've got our date Saturdays when we go through to Burnt Island together, just for a little break from the kids. You know, and we're in a beautiful part of the world.
It sounds like the family have their feet firmly rooted back on Scottish soil. But if the past 10 years has taught them anything, it's to expect the unexpected.
We have promised the kids no more moves till at least they leave home. I've still got a hankering to do a bit of overseas work eventually, but I think we'll probably keep this place.
Yeah.
You know, regardless of what we ever do in the future, this will be the anchor back home in the UK.
We've planted a tree in the garden, so we have to stay now. The magnolia tree, which my mum gave me, so we need to stay. To see a tree grow in a garden.
Well, that's what I call really putting down roots. And in the home counties, when we last saw Digi and Emily, none of the properties Kirsty had showed them had quite hit the mark. 2 years on, I hope they've scored a bullseye. When we last saw Digi and Emily, their time with Kirsty in Hertfordshire meant that they had at last seen some houses in real life. But it also seems that the experience led to some broadening of horizons. Kirsty had tried to edge them slightly west to neighbouring Buckinghamshire without success. So I'm surprised to find that Digi and Emily have ventured even further to Abingdon in Oxfordshire and this impressive country pile. You know I can't resist a sneak preview.
Hello.
Hello.
Emily.
Hello, Emily. So this is the pad.
This is it, yes.
Very smart walking up here.
Thank you. Come on in.
Thank you. Even from the outside, this place is a knockout. But I'm intrigued to find out why Digi and Emily ended up way out west. I was sad that we didn't get to meet when you were originally searching with Kirsty, but I heard that you'd sorted something out and was keen to come and see how you did, because it was quite a challenge, wasn't it?
It was. We were looking in Hertfordshire then.
Yes. Ended up in Oxford.
Oh, no, in Oxfordshire.
But it looks stunning. Tell me, what was Kirsty's advice when you finished the search with her?
I think we'd agreed that we couldn't find what we wanted. I had to do some more research, I think.
Okay.
And that was 2 years ago. So Emily hadn't done her entrance exams then. She has now. And there were various schools dotted in different places. So,
Well done, Emily.
we chose Oxford.
Okay, so that opened up.
And that opened up a whole new area.
Got it. I remember you were quite a keen online viewer. Did that continue?
It did indeed, because Oxfordshire is much further away. I searched for about 6 months and probably viewed properties every few, so a few a week.
Okay, quite a lot then.
Quite a lot.
Last year, Digi found this gorgeous country home and knew their search was over. It's a converted farmstead with parts of it dating back centuries. The main house is set over just 2 floors, so offers the easy access that Digi was after. There are 4 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, including 1 ensuite. What was the standout bit of this house?
Probably the room and house configuration.
When you first walked in here, did you know straight away? Or did it sort of take a while?
You did, definitely.
Yeah.
I thought yes at first, then I was kind of like, not really. But now we've painted it over, yeah.
It took a bit more than a lick of paint to get the house the way they wanted. When she met Kirsty, Digi had a budget of £1.25 million. But this place came in at just over £1 million. So she spent 50 grand making it her own, building a new kitchen in the sitting room and turning the old kitchen into a library, as well as refreshing the dining room and new sitting room. I'd say it was money very well spent. Is this the old part of the house?
It is. This is the 300-year-old wall, which is part of the farm originally, and the beams as well, if you can see, are also old, the same period. Yeah.
Did you have to paint all of this, the beams?
We did. They were dark, dark, dark.
Emily, do you have a favourite bit of the house?
Probably the library, my room, or this room.
This is a stunning room. It's a really characterful house. How did you feel, Emily, leaving North London? Was that okay? Was it exciting or was it scary or...?
Well, it was kind of upsetting, but now I'm here. It's kind of off my mind and I'm focused on here.
Oh, straight out of the rule book.
Music.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And the same could be said for the outside. There's a large garden with a new pond and a swing, 2 things checked off Emily's wish list. Sadly, there's no zip line yet, but she doesn't seem to mind. Digi wanted outbuildings, and here there's a workshop and a double garage. For now, Mum Quelan is a regular visitor to the house rather than a resident. But once some final works are done, the plan is she'll join them here. Oh my word, it's another house, it's a whole house. The downstairs will become Quelan's home, and upstairs, Digi's already created herself an impressive office. Even that's vast, Digi. My goodness me.
So now you know when you said, did you know straight away?
Yes.
By the time I'd wandered around, it was in my mind, I was mentally ticking all the things we needed, and they all seem to be here.
It does feel like you ticked every single box, and you had many boxes.
We did.
Finding a property that met Digi's needs was always going to be a tall order. But this place certainly delivers. And I'm glad she and Emily have put their own stamp on it. I'd say that calls for a celebration. The house, I think, it's got personality, it's got interest. It's an awful lot of house for the money. You've done so well. I guess some of this, Dizzy, was about providing Emily with a childhood that you enjoyed.
Yes,
being in the
definitely.
countryside, wasn't it?
Yeah. If we were going to leave, you know, the positive side of the city, then you must replace it with the positive side of the country. And I think we have that here.
So that's nailed. And also that your mum can come and be with you. That's nailed. Really,
Thank
many
you.
congratulations. Let's raise a toast
Thank
to you and your house search.
Thank you for your help, pointing us in the right direction.
I'm not sure I was much help at all, but I'll pass it on to Kirsty.
Well done, Kirstles. Another satisfied house hunter.
It really is wonderful to see Dizzy and Emily settling in so well, so happy, having found their countryside home. And with Dizzy's mum able to move in down the line, it makes it even better. And I'm sure the trio will have many, many happy years here. And after quite a few twists and turns, Kirsten and Scott have come full circle, and they are now very happily back in Kirkcaldy. All's well that ends well.
If you'd like help finding your next home, then we want to hear from you. You can apply online at channel4.com/take part.